Welcome to Yoga with AJ. Today we're going to do poses that strengthen the lower back, and also to be careful of what to keep in mind when you're doing forward bends, back bends and twists in order to keep your lower back nice and safe. So let's get started. So we start out in Vajrasana. You're sitting back on your heels. Take a deep breath in, let the abdomen and the chest expand. Exhale fully. Just close your eyes for a few seconds, connecting with your breath. Gently opening your eyes, interlocking the fingers, stretching up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders down into their sockets, turn the palms up and stretch up the side body, waking up the sides of the body, relaxing your neck, relaxing all the muscles in the neck and the throat. Take another deep breath in and gently release the hands. Move to the side, leaning on your left hand, moving with your right. Stretching with your left. Stretch the other way. Really grow tall as you're doing this. Don't think of going down, but up to the upper corner of the room. Keep stretching. One last stretch. Come back to the center. Release your legs. And come to Sukhasana. Easy pose. The feet are resting under the knees. Nice and relaxed. We'll deepen the side stretch a little bit more. Let's ease up the head first. Stretching to the side a couple of times, 3 or 4 times. Looking to your sides. Once to the right, once to the left. Repeat twice. 3 or 4 times. Releasing the neck. And now stretching the arm out to the side. Stretch your arm out to one side. And the other arm goes overhead. Now don't think of going down. Think of stretching up. So maybe you're very flexible and you're happy with your elbow on the mat, or you just want your fingertips or your palms on the mat. Keep stretching up to the upper corner of the room, stretching up through both sides. And stretch the other way. Remember to keep breathing as you're doing that. Reach up with your arms, reach up with the sides of your body, press the hips down. One more time. Stretch, open the ribs. Open the ribs up to the ceiling this time. And come back to the center. So we come onto our side in the tabletop position. Waking up the back slowly. Your hands, that's the wrist, and the shoulders are in one line. Hands are shoulder width apart. Your knees are hip width apart. Inhale and stretch up. Exhale, curl the head into the spine. Inhale and stretch up. Exhale, pull the stomach into the spine. Pull the belly button in. Inhale and stretch up one last time. Exhale, pull into the spine. Slowly waking up the back. Sit back on your feet, stretch forward in an active child's pose. If you're comfortable, have your forehead down on the mat and stretch forward again. Pressing back one more time. Stretching forward again, coming onto your hands. The hands and the shoulders are in one straight line. Pressing back with your hips, waking up the hips and the lower back. Making a circle with the hips. Down to the right side, the center, the left and up. One last time. The third time. Making a circle with the hips, waking up the lower back and the upper back. Going the other way now, 3 times. Back to the center, left, center, right and up. Last time, left, center, right and up. And sit back one more time. Stretch. So we come back into this nice, even, neutral back. You're not arching your back, you're not curving your back. Your back is in a straight line. And to do that, you need to pull the belly button gently in towards the spine, but don't hold your breath. Again, your hands and your shoulders are stacked, one below the other. The neck is an extension of your spine, so don't let the neck drop. Alright, just keep it in a nice straight line. Stretch your right leg back, just on the floor, waking up the calves. At the same time, being mindful of your hips. Don't overstretch, keep the hips in one straight line. The other way. Pulling up the kneecaps, waking up those kneecap muscles, the quadricep muscle at the front of the thigh. Press your heel back into an imaginary wall. And back one more time. Stretching again. Now engaging your stomach. Bring your weight onto your hands, make a nice box, a neutral spine, and raise your right hand. So depending on the openness in your shoulder, you might feel that it's easy to bring the arm in line with your shoulder, or you may be a little lower. Keep the neck in line with the back, hold here. You'll need to pull your stomach in gently and activate it in order to balance. Don't crash into your wrist, don't crash into your shoulder, pull up from the floor. Holding here for a few more breaths. And gently bring the hand down. Stretch up one more time. With the left hand this time, belly gently pulled into the spine, pressing away from the floor. Hands open nice and wide like a starfish. And bring the arm down. Rest for a moment. Relax your wrists. And come back. So we're going to try the arm and the leg together this time. So you'll stretch your right leg. Find your balance. You need to plug your foot in if you want to. Go ahead and do that. Or you can have the toe resting on the floor. Stretch the left arm up. Balancing there, not letting the hips go away from each other. Hips nice and square. Entire body in a straight line. Staying here for a few more breaths. And come back. Change sides. Still left leg and your right arm. Pulling up the kneecap muscles. Pulling the belly into the spine. Opening up the chest and shoulders. Shoulders nice and broad. Bring the arm down. Rest one more time. So our back is nice and open. Back is relaxed. Come onto your feet. Slowly roll up. Knees bent. Head coming up last. Walk to the front of your mat. So a good thing to remember about your back is that the hamstrings in the back are very much connected. If you have tight hamstrings, it could be that your back feels it. So when you do forward bends, be very, very careful. So become aware of how you're feeling in the back of your body when you're doing forward bends. So we're doing a gentle forward bend. Going to bend the knees and roll forward. And see how your back and the hamstrings, the muscle at the back of the leg, and your calves are feeling right now. You can have your feet together or hip width apart. Mine are hip width apart. I'm relaxing my upper body. Just testing how my hamstrings feel, how my lower back feels right here. You shouldn't be feeling any pain or twinging in your lower back when you're doing forward bends. Slowly roll up. So we're going to try this with straight legs. But if you felt a tightness or if you feel not so strong in your lower back, whenever we are doing forward bends, instead of having the legs straight, you can have them gently bent, leaning forward. So we're going to use the strength of the back and the stomach to go forward. The hamstring works as well, and we're moving from the hip. So we do a half Uttanasana. Feet are hip width apart. Take a deep breath in, pull up the kneecaps. If you want, you can have your knees bent. See how your back is feeling. If your back is feeling strong, the legs are nice and straight, kneecaps pulled up, stomach pulled into the spine, leaning forward, trying to come into a flat position with your back. You can use your legs for support, pressing away from the legs, neck in line with the back. Press down with your feet into the floor. Again, if your knees are bent, you're doing the same posture with bent knees, trying to straighten out your back. You're looking a little ahead of your mat, outer edge of your mat. Don't break the line of the neck. Straighten out the back as much as you can. And slowly come up. Let's try that one more time, keeping the back nice and safe. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, reach forward, either with straight legs or bent knees, into a nice half Uttanasana. And if you don't feel so good about being in this flat tabletop position with your legs straight and you're not feeling balanced, you can do this with the help of a chair. So you use your arms forward using a chair or a tabletop as a backrest, and you can stretch your arms forward and rest them on the chair, using it for support. Separate your feet a little bit more. Bring your hands resting behind you. So you have your thumbs towards your spine. Gently relax the knees and stretch back, pressing the hips forward. So when you're doing that stretch, you don't want to feel a crunching in the spine. You just want to feel a gentle stretch, Like, that feels good. Not, oh my God, it's so difficult and it's hurting me. And gently come back. So you want to keep your back really safe in your forward bends. We're doing a class today to be mindful of the lower back. Whenever you're doing forward bends with a full extension, like so, with the full Uttanasana, you need to feel the back, feel the legs, and see if it's an overstretching feeling for you. And I don't know how to describe that, but to say that it doesn't feel good in your back. It doesn't feel good in your back or your thighs. So you want to draw back a little bit. Either do this pose with the legs bent or don't go all the way down. So you can do a half pose here or here. And if your fingers are not touching the floor yet or your palms are not touching the floor yet, that's fine. Don't be in a hurry to get there. So we try a full pose, for those of us who are going there, and the rest of us are going to do this with bent knees or in a half pose. Coming to that halfway point first and then trying to come all the way down. If this doesn't work for you, bend the knees. Come up onto your fingertips, come up onto your legs and stretch the back. Try and straighten the back out as you're doing this, keeping the neck in line with the back. Staying here for a few breaths wherever you are, whether here or here or here. And gently releasing the pose, coming up, bending the knees if you need to, slowly rolling up out of it. Separate the feet a little wider, bring the hands to your lower back, just resting on your hips, thumbs in towards your spine and gently pressing back. Pressing the hips forward, you should feel a release, relaxed feeling, not a pinching in the lower back. So keeping yourself safe in these postures is very important, and we're going to learn another posture called the down dog, very popular with many people who practice yoga. Adho, Mukha, Svanasana. It just means downward facing dog. So let's see how we get into the posture. At first, we just come down onto our knees and have a look at the arms. What are the arms doing? The upper arm is rotating outwards. So you're opening up the shoulders, bringing the eye of the elbow down towards the floor. At the same time, you're pressing down into the index finger and thumb joint. So your forearm is kind of rolling in. Fingers are nice and wide, shoulder width apart. Curl your toes under and use the same safety principle for your down dog as well. So that's the ideal pose. Your heels are on the mat. The lower back is nice and lengthened. Your hip is the highest point in the body. But perhaps you're here, or you don't feel good about straightening your legs. It's okay to have the legs bent. As long as you're pressing back into your hands, opening out your shoulders and bringing your weight towards the back body, the back of your body towards your legs, the hip the highest point in the leg, in the body. Fix your gaze wherever your neck allows you. Your neck is an extension of your spine. Your feet are hip width apart, inner thighs gently rolling in, and you shouldn't feel a tightness in your legs. Once you get used to this, it's a resting posture, it's a good posture, it's a peaceful posture. Rest in child's pose. And just observing your body as you rest in child's pose. Checking which part of your body did you feel working. We'll be practicing this pose one more time. Adho, Mukha, Svanasana. Gently sitting up. Come back onto your hands. Find the right distance between your hands and your feet so that your hip becomes the highest point in your body. And remember, those of us trying to keep ourselves safe, the knees will be bent. Those of us who have our heels up, they aren't down on the mat yet. To relax your legs, you could put a yoga block or a rolled up blanket, or you could even practice this against the wall, with your heels against the wall. So staying here for a few breaths more, lengthening the lumbar or the lower spine, pressing away from the floor with your arms, drawing the hips up through the side body, pulling the belly button in towards the spine, but don't hold your breath. Lengthen the neck, rotate the shoulders outwards, open the shoulders nice and wide, broad shoulders, and press into the index finger and the thumb joint. Stretching out those forearms, pressing them away from the floor. Just one more breath here. And gently release. Come back to child's pose. Sit back on your heels. Bring your forehead to the mat. Just rest there. Observe your body again. See how your back felt. Don't overstretch, especially if you've had back pain before. Be very safe in these postures, in the forward bends and poses where your back and your legs are stretching. Gently sit up. So we're going to practice a few poses that are going to keep your back safe and strong. We're going to be down on the stomach. Starting out in MAKARASANA. It's a resting pose. Toes gently touching, big toes. Make a pillow with your hands. Turn your cheek. Relax, open out the shoulders and breathe. Connect with your breath. Allow your abdomen to gently press against the floor every time you inhale. Abdomen expands as you inhale. And if you don't feel so comfortable with your big toes touching in this posture, MAKARASANA, crocodile, you can also have your big toes facing away from you with the hips open. See how that feels in your back. Some people find this much more relaxing than having the big toes together. Taking 2 more breaths here, maybe 3. Allowing yourself to rest and relax. And gently coming back again. Draw the feet together. Bring the elbows under the shoulders. This is a very gentle basic stretch for your back. And if you feel this also works you really hard, you feel kind of strained or stretched out in your lower back, you need to be very careful when you're going into the Cobra, when you're going into Bhujangasana or any of the back bends. Keep looking in front if your neck feels like it wants to relax, and if you want to stretch it more, you can look up. See how that feels at the back of your neck. The hands are nice and relaxed. Chest and shoulders open. Even though your stomach's pressing down into the floor, you're still breathing. And getting ready to relax one more time. Come back to MAKARASANA. Crocodile pose. Make a pillow with your hands. Turn your cheek to the other side this time. So you either have your feet apart, or you can have your big toes touching each other, heels flopping out to the sides. Choose whatever feels good for your lower back. And coming back up. Getting ready to do the Cobra this time. So your forehead is resting on the mat. The hands are either directly below your shoulders or outside your shoulders, whatever feels good. Try and bring the heels together. As you inhale, press down gently and come up. It's a baby Cobra. You should be able to hover your hands off the floor. If you want to test whether you're doing this pose with your back or your arms, just pick your hands off the floor and see whether you feel the need to rest further forward with your back. Shoulders aren't up, shoulders are relaxed. And gently rest one more time. Rest your forehead. Stretch your arms in front of you. Pretend you're Superman flying in the sky. Relax your feet. And this time, come up on your elbows. Pretend you're watching TV. Spread one leg. Relax your upper body. Just relaxing the lower back. Breathing here for a few breaths. And change the leg. Relax. Come back to your Cobra position. This time, you can either have your hands resting next to your shoulders, under your shoulders, or lower down near your spine, near your ribs, or near your waist. So you need to find the right distance away or close to your shoulders so you can straighten your arms without raising your shoulders when you come up. This time, we come up with straight arms. And if it feels good to you, keep looking in front. The legs are apart. If you feel good about it, stretch up. It's a really, really deep back bend. So make sure you're not crunching into your lower back. If If you don't feel good about this, you can do the same pose with bent elbows. Or you can stretch your arms ahead. Whatever feels good to you. The arms are straight, but the shoulders aren't coming up. Rest the shoulders down into their sockets. Depends on the flexibility of your hip and your lower back. So we're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. Gently release. Come back to crocodile. Relax your lower back. We move on to a few variations of the Locust, Shalabhasana. So draw the feet together. Bring your arms in front of you. Stretched nice and forward. No tension in the shoulders. The shoulders are relaxed, elbows relaxed, forehead on the mat. Just the upper body at first. Inhale deeply and come up as high as you can. If you're just here, that's fine too. Relax the shoulders, relax the upper body. See how high you feel like being. And gently relax. Relax your legs. Check into your back once more. One more time, draw the feet together. This time, bring the arms out to the sides like a plane. So the plane's taking off. Take a deep breath in. Come up as high as you can. And gently relax. If you couldn't hold it that long, it's alright. Don't worry about it. So one more variation. We'll bring the hands in front. Rest the forehead down on the mat. Strengthening the lower back this time. Even more. The feet are together. Legs together. And we'll bring the arms and the legs up together. Taking a deep breath in. Gently rest your forehead on the mat. Relax the feet. Take a few deep breaths here. Come to one more variation of the Shalabhasana. We're going to make our plane fly. It's taken off now. Gently bring your hands to your sides. Forehead on the mat. Hands and shoulders in one line. Feet together. Take a deep breath in. Stretch up. And relax. Come to our last variation of Shalabhasana. Going to take a short break, maybe 4 or 5 long breaths, relaxing the back, the arms and the legs before we go to our last variation of the Locust, Shalabhasana. Gently draw the feet together. Bring your forehead onto the mat. Clasp your hands behind you. Interlock the fingers. You can either have the heels of the palms in towards each other, or if your shoulders don't allow you, they can be apart. Whatever feels good to you. Inhale deeply. Come up as high as you can. Stretch the arms away from the body. Hold here for as long as you can. Try and hold for 5 long breaths. And relax. Just allow your breath to come back to normal in MAKARASANA, the crocodile. And once your breath normalizes, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Sit back in child's pose. In this variation, to release the lower back, the knees are together. Hands resting next to the feet. Forehead on the floor if it allows you. Or you can either use your hands to relax your neck. If your forehead doesn't touch the floor, you can have a little pillow or a yoga block in front of you. Staying here for a while. Gently sit up. Come back. Release the back one more time. Cow. Just 3 of them. Inhale as you stretch up. Exhale as you curl under. Inhale as you stretch up. Doing this at your own pace. You don't need to follow me. Open the knees. Let the big toes touch. And stretch forward one last time. And when you're in this pose, you may not be able to sit back on your heels. You may be a little higher up here, and that's okay. Wherever you are, relax your shoulders, relax your neck, relax the elbows, allowing the hips to open up gently. And gently sit up. So if you felt good while you were doing those back stretches, you can repeat them in the same sequence whenever you feel like. Be very careful when you're stretching your lower back, especially in your forward folds and even in your back bends. If your lower back feels a little irritated when you're doing these stretches, reduce the range of motion, don't stretch, and definitely don't overstretch. So one last stretch, a supine stretch on the floor. I really love this one, feels good to me. So you're going to bend your knees at first and check your lower back. Make sure there is no gap between your lower back and the floor. I shouldn't be able to pass my hand through. So I gently bring my hips and my lower back down onto the floor. Pulling out my neck, relaxing the upper back as well. Spreading the arms nice and wide in line with the shoulders. You'll find there's a different energy when you have your hands turned down, hands closed, and when they're turned up, you'll feel nice and open because the shoulders can relax. Hug the knees into the chest at first, gently moving them from side to side. Feel your hips, your lower back relaxing, getting a gentle massage as you're doing this. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders, cooling down now. And allow the knees to rest wherever they feel like. That may be higher, they might be apart slightly, whatever feels good to you. Stretch the arms again to the sides. Now try to keep your knees as high as you can as you twist your hips and your knees towards the right or up towards your right armpit. At the same time, trying to keep the left shoulder on the mat and looking towards your left fingertips. Just resting there, you can use your right hand to gently stretch your right knees. Switch off the feet, just let them be on the mat. And without moving from this position, without moving your hands or your feet, just imagine you can gently pull your belly button up towards the ceiling, very, very gently, deepening the stretch a little bit more. Staying here for 2 more breaths. And allow your hand to rest on the floor again. Come back to the center and move your knees to your left. Allow your right shoulder to rest on the floor. Look towards your right fingertips. You might not be so high, you might be lower, and that's fine too, wherever you feel comfortable. Relax your shoulders, relax your knees and your feet as much as you can. Gently imagine that you can bring your belly button up towards the ceiling. Deepening the stretch a little bit more, still looking towards your right hand. Looking out over the fingertips of your right hand. Staying here for 1 more long breath. Take a deep breath in. Exhale fully, draw the knees in. And coming back into the corpse pose to rest. Your legs are 3 to 4 feet apart. Hands away from the body. You're going to try and rest the legs and the arms completely. Draw your hands into fists. Tense up the feet. Tense up the calves, the thighs, the forearms, the shoulders, the upper arms, and just draw them up off the floor and relax. Tense up your chest, your shoulders, pull them up towards the ceiling and relax. Squeeze up your thighs, your hips, your glutes, pull them up as high as you can and relax. Make a sour face, make a lemon face, draw all the muscles of your nose up, all the muscles of your face towards your nose. Squeeze tight and relax. Make any last adjustments, move your head from side to side if you want. Relax your feet and just settling down into the corpse pose, watching your breath. So those were all the poses to strengthen your lower back and all the things you need to keep in mind to keep your lower back safe as you're doing forward folds, back bends and twists, and perhaps balancing different aspects of your life as you do your yoga practice. So remember to stay connected to yourself and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.